I mean, there's not really like a whole world map. It's a lot of it's just like kind of, I was gonna say fan fiction, but maybe it's not the right word. The stairway to the royal council chambers was longer than I remembered. I took a moment to catch my breath in front of the carved oak doors. Hurry up, father. It's not very kingly of you to be late. You're wrong. It's very kingly for me to show up whenever I want. After collecting my thoughts, I pushed open a door and walked in. Everything was just as it had been in my youth. The high dome ceiling, with its skylight that shone into the center of the room, the oval mahogany table, the tall-backed red velvet chair where my father used to sit. To my slight surprise, the room was empty except for one man, my uncle. When Hugo saw me, he sprang to his feet. Welcome, your majesty. Oh my god, what did they do to Peter? They made him old as hell. Good morning. You know, I'll embrace them. I embraced my uncle. He hugged me back warmly. You'll meet everyone else soon enough. But I thought a private chat with your Grand Vizier would be in order first. His eyes traveled to the doorway, where Vina was still standing. Although it seems like I won't be as private as I expected. Are you staying, Princess Vina? My daughter gave a shy nod. Yes, Uncle Hugo. I'm sitting in on the King's Council meetings. It's unorthodox, I know, but future queens should have the same privileges as future kings. Hugo frowned as he processed new information, then broke into a smile. By all means, then, your highness, have a seat. Vina walked over to the table, and I made my way to the red velvet chair. Once we were all seated, I turned to my uncle. How have you been? Busy. Managing a role transition is a full-time job in and of itself. Between that and the visits to Rico and Isa, I haven't had days off since the funeral. As I listened to him, my eyes drifted towards the back wall. It was covered in portraits of Rizia's previous kings, including a newly painted likeness of my father. My dear brother, I do miss him. But I dare say it's time that we've had some fresh blood for the throne. As it's been quite some time since you last sat in these chambers, I've prepared an overview for you. Would you like to hear it? Please. As the king, you're both Rizia's head of state and commander of its armed forces, as well as the de jure governor of the Rizia Imperia, the Villacris, and the Palace Administrative District, and the island of Calabikis. Excellent. I've got my own private island. Maybe. Where is this island? You were assisting in royal decrees before your reign. Now, you're the one holding the seal. As is tradition, over hundreds of years, each new ruler has passed the sovereign transition and clemency decree to start their reign. The kingdom will be expecting your decree very soon. It's in the corner of the country map. Thanks for your advice. Comfort to have your wisdom. Okay, well, thanks for your advice, Uncle. It's comforting to have your wisdom experience guiding me at the start of my reign. Your humility is appreciated, but remember, being a king is about making hard decisions, not just following advice. Hugo reached for a neatly rolled parchment lying on the grand table. With deliberate movements, he unrolled it, revealing a prepared royal decree. The intricate script and the seal of Rizia's glinted under the chandelier's light. I and the rest of the Royal Council will advise you to the best of our ability and put forth decrees and state decisions for your approval. Ultimately, the king has the final say. How are tips welcome? I mean, if you want to offer tips, I mean, as long as they're not spoilers. Because I have never played the DLC, I don't want any major spoilers for what could happen. But I'm okay with like some small tips. However, you should not neglect the House of Delegates, an legislative assembly my brother set up to appease the opposition after the uprising. Yeah, I mean, it was one of his better ideas. I thought so as well. It gave Rizia the appearance of a constitutional democracy, while keeping power firmly in the hands of the king. Okay, so we're going for like a Mezi Restoration Japanese model here. His Majesty Vero presided over the last election in 1949. The Rizia National Coalition secured a House majority as always. They propose decrees and issue formal official approvals and disapprovals of the laws passed by you and the council. As Grand Vizier, it's tradition for me to attend their sessions and pass any relevant information on to you. Okay. Thanks for that, Your Grace. I'll be counting on you. Of course, Your Majesty. With that said, I would advise you to take the delegate's input into account. Not good to come off as ignoring the will of the people. You know, and what if they disagree with me? So what? I'll have them fired or better beheaded. You know, let's maybe tone it down, at least right now. Okay. I'm here to serve, Your Majesty. Fortunate delegate speaker, Daria de Rava, is a Taurus loyalist through and through. She should give you no trouble. Fantastic. She looks like, oh, shit. She looks like I can picture her in my head. But I can't... Oh, who am I what are they, Shit, I don't know. But she looks very familiar. The opposition is small, but it's worth keeping an eye on, especially their new leader, Manus Sazon. Leader of the Rizian People's Party, as well as the heir to House Sazon. He's born on the island of... He's from the island! Good for him. We love the island. Hugo scanned my face as closely as he spoke the name. The traitor's son? I'm always so rude to Manus, it's fun. The opposition elected a Sazon? Not just any Sazon. As you know, Duke Lucas Sazon was executed for his role in your kidnapping in the 1926 uprising, while his wife Angelica was sent to exile on Catacabiz. While she remains under strict orders not to leave the island, no such restrictions were placed on the son, she gave birth to shortly after their arrival. He opened a folder and took out a picture of a clean-cut young man. Vina leaned forward to peer at it. Upon finishing his studies at Keirut, Manus returned to the mainland and proceeded to win the largest support base of any opposition leader we've seen thus far. His promises to keep a voice of the common man seem to be resonating with the populace. Part of it, at least. Okay, you're right to be wary of him. Gotta keep him in our sights. We will. Hugo closed the folder. Well, on the subject, a word about our houses. Okay, House Toras. Our family currently controls the province of Velakriz, as well as the city-state of Izia. How's it doing now that I've left? Stable as always. With you on the throne, and me as Grand Vizier, and Rico in Izia. The governing seat to be filled with our distant cousin, Hubertus. You recall him, I'm sure. Of course, Princess Vina is eligible to take his place as the reigning Duchess once she is deemed fit. In a few years, maybe. I still don't feel ready. You'll be ready when I tell you. Now you're smarter than I was when I became Duke. But it's your decision. She blushed. Thank you, Father. Hugo tapped his finger on the table. In any case, Your Majesty, Hugo does not like that I like my... he's like, you love your daughter too much. Okay? This is no society in which you can love your daughter. You gotta tell your daughter to do shit. In any case, Majesty, I don't expect any trouble in Velakris during your reign. It remains the wealthiest of Rizia's provinces and least affected by crime. I'm sure their lives don't get any less comfortable, and the local nobility will stay loyal to you. Okay. What's really going on in Izia? Has Rico been well received as the Duke? His face hardened. Izia's been difficult since the Sazon rebellion, even more so since the Veznek population there exploded. In any effort to restore the rights and privileges of the native Rizians has met resistance. The students at Izia University are leading the charge, I believe. Considering the circumstances, I believe my son is doing just fine. Is Su Amina still based there? They're working with Ricardus to preserve whatever fragile order exists in the city, yes. And what about Rizia Imperia? We control that too, don't we? Yes. Porte Drezon and its metropolitan area are controlled by the central government, and therefore House Torres. You don't need to worry about pleasing our house in the region, though. It's more crucial to retain the favor of the major corporations that are based there. I mean, I understand. If our economy takes a hit, another uprising won't be far behind. Precisely. The Palace Administration District is still also under the jurisdiction of the Rizia Imperia since we won it back in the Reclamation War. Got it. Okay, what about House Sazon? Aside from Izza, which now is now under Rico's governance, all of Brenes is still their territory. The nobles there swore fealty to the crown in exchange for keeping a hold on their cities and their estates. But the return of Angelica's boy could test the loyalty. He is their rightful duke, after all, even if he does not admit it. He lost that title when his father orchestrated my kidnapping. Lucas was a rogue agent, or so the rest of the house will proclaim. As for Angelica herself, she remains in exile as she should. If Angelica's in exile and Manus has not laid claim to the Duke position, who's actually in charge of Bredness right now? A lesser relation by the name of Leona, she reigns from Selbes. But it is Manus and Angelica that the rest of the Sazons take their cues from. Lest we forget, Valand is scheduled to return Ziela to Rizia next year. The Sazons expect the region to become part of their province, as it was before the uprising. We can use that as a bargaining chip. Stay loyal to the house, to Crown, or no Ziela for House Sazon. Now you're thinking like a king. And finally, House Azaro. Ah, yes. The rulers of the Cardes, Montecalar, and the stewards of the Rizian military. You must be aware of their patriarch, Tatis's poor health. The general suffered a stroke prior to King Valero's death. My father was fond of him. His daughter, Lucitia, the Duchess of Monteclar, was selected to take his place as the War and Security Council. You'll meet her later today. You should also know that the faction within her province have begun calling for the return of palaces again. Yeah, I mean, one family controls the military, and it's not mine, which, I mean, might be an issue. I won't let House Azaro down. I'll finish what the general started. Be careful. We all know how the last campaign against the Grand Duchy ended. Hugo glanced at the clock. Well, I hope that was helpful. I think Rome was done here, unless there's anything else you want to bring up. Your Grace, I feel the situation as you've described it leaves me with limited power over my own kingdom. I wish to reign unchallenged by the House of Delegates, or any of the noble families. His eyes widen in shock. Oh no, her eyes, my daughter's eyes widen in shock. Hugo remained unfazed. You've hit upon an interesting point, Romus. I myself often wonder whether Rizia would be stronger if it was wholly united under the banner of House Toras. Ultimately, the crown enjoys high support among both the delegates and noble houses. I fear any attempt to defend them will lead to more strife than it's worth. How do you know support is so high? Anyone could be plotting against at any time. It unsettles me. I have my ear to the ground. The only potential sources of discontent are the ones I already mentioned for now. Please trust that I will come to you if the situation changes. He was pensive for a moment, then his expression brightened. One more thing. As you're aware, a few years before your father's death, he reinstated the Golden Guard. The royal family's personal security force. Where are they now? Here, sir, ready and able. For the first time, I noticed a man standing in the corner of the room. He was wearing a tight-fitted gold blazer that barely concealed his muscular physique. Meet Titus Gordian, captain of the Golden Guard. He and his men have been keeping a close watch on you since your coronation. Has he been in the room this whole time? A Golden Guard appears only if and when he is needed, sir. Titus and members of the 2,000-strong brigade have been trained in the upper echelons of Rizia's military and police academies. Each has sworn an oath to protect the king and his family at all costs. Name kind of goes hard. So are they guarding Vina and the Queen Mother as well? Yes. My men have eyes on the Queen Mother as we speak. He bowed to Vina. She looked a little flustered. But didn't Queen Rizia discontinue the Golden Guard? Because she thought it made the roles look elitist, and because she trailed off. Because she thought they were getting too powerful. Which is why our current force is less than a fifth of the size that it once was. Your father always had a fondness for Rizian tradition. So he spared no expense at bringing the guard back. Albeit in a reduced form. You know what, I think it makes sense, right? What if, Erdogan in Turkey, what if he brought back Janissaries? Does anybody think that's a good idea? Like, is that something that you think that they could get, they can go with? Okay. He was right to do so. The most important family in Rizia deserves the most important security force. I won't let you down, sir. Is Titus going to be as good as, what was his name in the like, chief of police in the base game? Because that guy, he knew what he was doing. Thank you, Titus. You may wait outside the chambers until the meeting's conclusion. Titus nodded and swiftly left the room. Noon already. Shall we and the young heiress break for a glass of wine before the council convenes this afternoon? Gladly. We still have much to catch up on. I think your father kept a store of vintage Cantovo in one of the cabinets. Yeah, Carl, yes. Carl was always on top of everything. Thank you for the invitation, Uncle Hugo. He turned to look my daughter in the eye. What an intelligent and well-mannered young woman you've grown up to be, Your Highness. I know how overwhelming the captain can seem compared to monkeys. If you ever have any questions, this is Capital, not Captain, I can read. Don't be afraid to come to me. Vina smiled politely. That's very kind of you, Uncle Hugo. Too kind, too kind. Oh, no offers of advice for me? I would have presumed to know better than you, Your Majesty. But of course, you can always come with me to questions as well. Vina finished jotting down some notes as Hugo went searching for the wine. Fantastic. House decree. Okay, so there's now just okay, so there's decrees in here that we can just pass like whenever because we don't need to listen to the wills of democracy. Okay. We've got some new stuff here. Let's actually, before we pass any of the any decrees, let's look at what we got going on here. Coal deposits in Havas. Very, very good. We love coal. Hopefully it's clean, though. I don't want any of that dirty coal. And a groundbreaking development has captured the Kingdom of Rizia's imagination. Archaeologists in the esteemed city of Topaz have unearthed remnants of what appears to be a major city for the long-lost Resinid Empire. Extensive layouts, marked by grandiose architecture and elaborate pharos, suggest a significant center of commerce, governance, and culture. Important tip, better save decrease to the end of the turn. Okay. Industry reports revealed that the Vizir oil field, once among Rizia's most prolific sites, is nearing the end of its production life. Well, we don't need oil, we have coal. In a press conference given to the Rizian Royal Gold headquarters at Porto de Rezon, CEO Rossello Montoro spoke out against the mining safety regulation proposed by the recently elected Morellian PM, Elma Sultana. Regulations would affect the MFTM ITZ, a resource-rich region in which Rizia, Morella, Vagsland, and Lesbia currently all own rights. Listen, I have nothing here but respect for Madame Prime Minister over there. Mr. Montoro, who prefers the name Rusty, told reporters. But she's gotten too big for her britches, and she thinks she can tell our hardworking miners how to do their job. If our new king wants to earn his crown, he will put her in her place. Okay, let's take a look, though. What do we got? Okay, so we can see, like, who likes it. Neutral. People enjoy it. But I'm assuming, like, some of these are... like, negative, right? Anti-narcotics campaign. I'm kind of surprised that, like, the head of the church loves narcotics. Housing initiative for the poor. Okay. Why does Elena look like a ghoul? Why does she look like a Fallout ghoul?